C-Town Stand Up. We are back here at the Lunchtable, Seattle's #1 source for hip-hop news and discussion. I'm Caj Encee in here with Mitch Pfeifer The Germ. Very special guest with us here today with TeZATalks.
Hey.
Thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How are you? What's new with you? What's going down? How's life?
Man, I'm good. We just hit 10K on Spotify yesterday for followers. So that's mad love, all organic. So thank you to everybody.
Nice.
It wouldn't have worked without people just listening and sharing, and people like you guys and Respect My Region and just friends. Like, it's dope to have that love,
100%. No, congratulations on that. I know
Thank
that's
you.
got to be big, and that's probably got to feel great.
Moving.
I've had a chance to now see you perform twice now. Once at the RMR World Tour, the other time with us here at the Gwinnett fundraiser. And your vibe and your energy and your presence is just so different and unique. And I really mean that in like the best sense. Because like I've never really seen an artist like you before, especially in our area.
Thank you.
But just tell me about this. Like now for the music, what do you have in store as far as albums and projects coming up?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm supposed to announce this, but you know what? Fuck it. I have an EP coming out that I just signed to a label in New York called A Part to Chaos.
Hey.
It's a 7-song EP. It's produced by Steven Chereba and myself, and we're really excited about it. We also have an album that will be debuting later this year called Emotional Intelligence and Emotional Therapy, EI and ET. And I have a single coming out with Creeps, J Battle, called Fourth Season that also is going to be debuting off the label out of New York here
Shout
soon.
out to bro.
Yeah, I think it's around the 22nd. I got to stick with my numerology 22. So, but yeah, those are some exciting things that are coming up that I'm really excited about for people to get to know me more in the music and kind of get an even closer look to what I have to say and the things that I care about.
For sure. So you have a management team.
I don't. I manage myself.
Salute.
Yeah.
Salute.
It's just hard, man. I got love. Like, I'm not gonna front and be like I'm just out here with many hats. My friends have helped a lot. People that I make music with, moving parts in the community. But I'm just trying to learn how to really navigate myself as an indie artist, because it's not like I have shit to say about labels like, oh, they're bad. It's just, you can do so much for yourself as an individual, and why would you let anyone take your vision away from you if you have it, So I'm just trying to stay true to myself, and if someone comes along and they have that same vision too, then I'm like, yo, join the team, but you gotta be cool.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. No, they definitely can't rock outside. Whatever your program is.
Yeah, exactly. You can add to it though.
I have to say something real quick. Now, when you did the Seattle World Tour show, hands down, that was the performance of the night. Like, she came on stage, like, the first thing we all said, like, yo, when you had the dancers on there, I heard you guys only rehearsed once.
Yeah, once.
Once,
Yeah,
bro. I was
day
like,
before.
serious? I'm like, God, that's talent. But when you came up there looking like Storm, I was like, she got it. She got it. Like, the choreography, the setting, you have so much stage presence, man. It was worth the time.
Man, I
want to see that. I want to see that in the Coliseum next. It's worth that.
Let's do it.
You feel me? Like, let's figure this out. Let's get some sponsors involved.
I really appreciate that, and I will say one thing to that, because it's not that I don't think Seattle doesn't have love for me. It's just I didn't make myself present in Seattle. So to be put on to such an incredible event and to have so many different type of people in the room supporting me for the first time on that level, I will never forget that. I was so thankful. I was nervous as hell.
You had that crowd. She had that crowd. Like, crowd control is a motherfucker, boy, and she did that. Like, she had it.
Applying pressure for other local performers.
Man, that made me want to go do cardio. I was like, my big ass got to get it together. Like, can't be out here being out of shape rapper. Like,
No, yeah, the support has been huge, especially, I mean, I want to come back to, you know what I'm saying, you hitting 10,000 followers on Spotify. Tell me about that. Was it fast? Was it slow? Has it kind of been steady the whole time moving along? What have you kind of recognized about the growth of your following?
So I think it happened probably along this timeline. I came out with music in 2016. I was approached by EDM.com to try to do some PR stuff. Dropped a project in early 2017. That brought a bunch of people to me. I was probably sitting at about a cool 5,000 followers from that. And it really was when I started to kind of implement myself into the Seattle scene, working with other local talent, meeting other artists, incredible artists, where those numbers started to blossom because word of mouth is powerful, right?
Facts.
And so more and more people were listening to my music organically and sharing it. And then when we did the Seattle World Tour, it like took off because then I had a whole city behind me. So really shout out to Seattle because y'all got me to that 10K. You know, y'all really started listening in a different way because the thing about Seattle is they're not going to front. Like if they don't fuck with you, they don't fuck with you. But if they fuck with you, they're going to show and tell everybody. So that's when that number was so close. And I made a post and I was like, yo, we're like literally 60 people away. Like, how do we do this? And, you know, Respect My Region, their team has been so helpful in just the short amount of time that we have been able to like connect to get my music out there as well. Taylor Hart wrote an incredible article about me where I just got to get to know her.
Taylor.
And I can't thank people enough like that who are showing me in the most authentic light because that's all I want to do with my music and my artistry. So that's how that got there.
So from the time that so you said after the world tour is kind of when things kind of took off for you. So you were sitting around 5,000 before the world tour?
Maybe like 6,500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So talk about that first 6,500 and how like you saw that kind of growth take place.
It's come from all over the world. Turkey's a big support. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago is a big support. But the crazy thing is the fans are so different. The music is so diverse. Like if someone looks at my catalog, it's not exactly a consistent genre, right? It's just a consistent mood, a consistent vibe, or a consistent message. And I wanted to make it to where there was a song for everyone. So I think those 6,500 people that were following me are really individually their own original person. It's not like they would click up or typically, you know, like hang out. And that's what's dope about shows is that when I do put on shows, like it's going to be people that would never fuck with each other, standing next to each other like, okay, like maybe I do fuck with you because you know this song. And I want to bring that to people with my music. I want to bring different walks of life together. And that's why everything's a switch up kind of in each song, you know, because I'm a switch up. I'm layers or a cake.
100%.
How would you describe the sound that you came about, like that you have, and then how would you just like what has inspired you to get to that? Like what kind of music do you feel like you draw inspiration from to create?
I draw. So I was a hip hop wise, like Nas, Jay-Z, are some people that I listened to consistently, like when I was younger. Kendrick, of course, has paved the way on delivery of things where it's like I always kind of get considered as a rapper, and it's not when it's like I just love cadence and I love flow, and I try to incorporate that in my like vocal technique. But to describe what it is I do, it's difficult. And I ran across this genre called world music, right? And the definition of it is literally like it's a traditional music that is popular within the world.
Damn.
That's big as fuck. Like, whatever that means. But electronic music, by working with someone like Steven Shreba and even Creeps, because they're so gifted in their own right, it has allowed there to be kind of like a trademark on the music. So you get that hip hop, you get that electronic feel, and electronic music, because it's so diverse in the sounds and sonic, you're able to kind of play and sneak in every type of influence. So, I mean, if that explains it, I'm just trying to go through the back door so I can make it to the front of the house.
Right.
Now, how did you come up with your name? It's obviously close to your real name, but how did you?
Yeah.
What was that whole process like?
Shout out to Starbucks for never spelling my name right. First off, I'm like, who is Teza? And I was sitting in North Hollywood, and I was like, can I get a mocha frappuccino? Yes. What is your name? Tasia. Got it. You need the spelling? No. You sure? No.
Yeah.
I get my cup, and it says TeZA, and I'm like, this is the third time that this has happened. And it like clicked, and I was like, whoa. And I ran back to the hotel, and Steven and I were traveling at the time, just making music, and he was supporting me while I was doing this like, they have it like a stage Broadway play where you like read a script and people come out. It's not the full on dress rehearsal, but I was doing the picture of Dorian Gray, and I went back to the hotel and I was like, yo, what happened if we used Teza instead of, you know, my real name? And he was like, that's fire. What does it mean? And we looked up what it means, and it means reap what you harvest.
I like
And
that.
from that point on, it kind of just like made sense. And then he really was the one when we were sitting up watching TED Talks, because that's what we did, because we had nothing else to do when we weren't making music. It's like knowledge, music. And he's like, what happened if it was TeZATalks? And I was like, yo, that's kind of heat, but is that too many like syllables? Like, are people gonna be? He's like, no, Beyonce. And I was like,
only 3.
TeZATalks. And I was like, I guess. And we ran with it, you know? It's been something that has made sense. Clearly, I talk. My lyrics have been something that people connect with, and, you know, I'm just thankful that it stuck, because, you know, it didn't have to.
Definitely, especially when you're delivering what you're coming with.
Yeah.
You know, so that brand is going to definitely stick out.
I hope so.
I mean,
I'm
it's
working
like
towards it.
it's one of those names that kind of has like some kind of like mystique around it, kind of like The Weeknd or like Her or like those are the ones that like kind of come to my mind off top, and it's just like, I don't know, just the artist name in itself makes you kind of want to know more about the artist, and then when you actually get to know you, you still want to know more about the artist. So it's like it really tumbles all like into itself, which is pretty cool. Was being a musical artist, you said you released music in 2016.
Yeah.
Was being an artist something that you always wanted to do when you were younger, or did you kind of come into like a love for music more and then like, oh, I want to become an artist?
I think from the time my mama gave birth to me, I've been an artist. I think we're all artists in our own way. It's just what colors are you choosing to paint with, what tools are you using to create with, and then most importantly, what are you going to leave behind when you leave this world? What has turned me into a more specific artist is my walk in life. Everything that I talk about, all the music, down to visuals, and every piece of content is from experience in my life. It's real. And so if that says anything, TeZATalks it's a timeline of stories, and I'm just trying to tell people mine.
And like and becoming like fully coming into that artist role, how did like your parents like receive that? Were they like, did they embrace that, or like, or did they like, were they like, oh, we support her, but like we don't really, we're just gonna support her, and we're gonna ride with her because this is what she loves.
You know, my mom is the sweetest woman ever. I'm sure everybody says that about their mama, but my mama really is, and she's always taught me to go after what I love. And my grandparents. One of the most unforgettable moments about the Seattle World Tour was I was done with the show, and people were coming up and saying thank you, and I was trying to hug everybody, and someone goes, clear the way. And they kind of like split the crowd a bit, and there was my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's heavy.
yeah, and my dad's like, he's incredible. He is a hell of a man. Like, Midwest, like, show me state, like, you will be your best self. Education is everything. And I will never say that he hasn't supported me, but he's always wanted what he thought is better
Best.
for me and best, right? And for him to walk up with tears in his eyes and be like, yo, you belong on this stage. I'm so proud of you. And then have like one of the illest pictures from the show, and then stay the whole entire time. I'm good.
That's all
I'm
we
happy.
yeah.
That's all I need. So my parents support me. It may not be when I want them to, and it may not be the way that I always want them to, but they do. There's definite love there.
That's all that matters.
We had a chance to, from a vibe at the lounge for the Ghanaian fundraiser. We presented the crystals through Crystal Heart. That's something that you're really into as well.
Yes.
We had a chance to talk about that. How does that influence your life and your music, if it does the music?
So energy, period, is more so what draws me to crystals, because crystals hold an energy much longer than other certain things that we have in this world, because it's been around for some odd hundreds of years, you know?
Correct.
So my belief behind it is understanding what to use what crystal for what energy, and what to put back into it and how to recharge. And it's the same thing for yourself and your life and your music. What are your intentions behind your music? What are you putting out there? And what do you expect to get back from it, if anything? So I know people have their own interpretations of it. I always am an advocate for, if you believe in something or you want to stand for it or learn it, go out there and learn yourself. You know, shout out to Crystal Heart for being one of those avenues to do that. But how it's worked out for me is that if I feel drawn to a certain stone, I just simply pick it up and I go and I try to understand why that may have been something I was drawn to, or why I may need it in my life, just like anything else that comes to you and goes.
No, yeah, I've been getting into it more as well. Obviously, being friends with AJ, it's just really on the same thing with me, and it's just kind of been cool. Like, we just been meeting more people who really been on tapping
it's a
in,
vibration,
tapping more into the energy. Like, really, what are some of the ones that you like to carry with you?
Let's see what we got in my little baggie here, you know?
I got my couple on me today. I bring my tiger's eye with me everywhere.
Yeah.
And I got my ametrine on me.
Okay, so this pretty one right here, this is actually one that I'm supposed to have all the time. It's a moonstone. It helps with intuition, helps with me being grounded. And I think the biggest one for me, it's rooted in all of my chakras. Now, if you don't know what chakras are, just understand it's all body work. I also went to school for that as well. I don't know how to explain it for you, but to speak from my experience as I am, it all has to do with when I hold it and I just try to understand my intention. I don't feel a sense of loss without it, more so than when I have it, I feel a difference in how my day-to-day is going, the conversations that I have, the people that feel the need to express whatever they're going through, or even the opportunities I may walk into. It's just it's a different way to live your life in order to acquire balance. And if that's something that works for you, then, you know, I encourage you to do so. And if not, at least you'll have something pretty to put inside your house.
For sure. There you go. That's what
Now, was that something that you know, being into crystals and gemstones, was that something that you're in before your music?
100%. I grew up on Oahu, and you know, if you have been there, I know you've been there. You understand the aloha spirit. It's just something different about being in the sun, right? It's paradise.
Vibes for real.
Yeah, you really don't know until you don't have it, or until you're, you know, not there anymore. I remember when you went on your trip and you came back and you're like, I feel different, man. I gotta get back.
For real. My daughter was even like, we were in the house, my wife and my kids, and my daughter was like, first day back, she's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, damn. Like, now they're going to be there for a whole summer with their grandparents. Yeah. And I got to keep my ass here. The only place I get to go is, we may go to Japan. That's it.
Oh, that would be nice, though.
But I got to get the vacation.
The vacation time.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, you came back and you were just, there was a part of you that now had stepped in front of whatever had been navigating you before.
Yes, no, I definitely felt that out there, and it really, because I was going through a lot of craziness before, then I was going through some deep, dark nonsense, and I lost some relatives on top of that were big in my life. But going out there, being in that sun, people that's in that positive state are like, man, small shit, small
Hang
shit,
loose.
small shit, bro,
Yeah.
small shit. You hit my car, small shit.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, it made me understand something, that material is not everything, and also that, how you treat people, how your vibe is. Like, when you're out and about with your family, your friends, always be one of those people that contribute to having good energy and bringing positivity towards one another. You can't be the Debbie Downer. You can't be the Debbie Downer.
No.
Like, that shit is real out there. I was like, this is what the life I need.
Yeah.
I might move out that way, though. I might say kiss my ass and just move out that
Yo,
way.
hit me if you do.
I will.
I'll be out there.
When did you come to Seattle from Oahu? Or was Seattle
That's
the first
a journey,
move?
right? So I was in LA for 8 years, right? And then I moved here, and I've been out here for 2 years. But I haven't been back home in almost like 6.5 years, 7 years now. When I left because there's something about that place that makes you want to stay.
Hell yeah.
You have everything that you need, but there is a blessing and a curse within that. There's a whole other world out there, and I think something like that, growing up in such a beautiful place, you gotta share it. You gotta share it.
Yeah.
There's potential in trying to make, as cheesy as it is, this world a better place. And it's you. You make this world a better place. So if you don't go nowhere and you're only in the same place that you're in, like your state of mind, same thing. Like, how can you evolve anything else around you and yourself? So
That's big. That's in like being in Hawaii. Like you're right. There's such that island lifestyle, and it feels like you have everything you need. Like, why would you branch out? I know when I went overseas, I had the chance to go to France last summer, and one of the things that like I was kind of being communicated with is like over there, it's like a real same relaxed lifestyle. Like they have 2-hour lunches, their work days are shorter.
2-hour lunches.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like,
They're-
we about
you know
to
what I'm
kick
saying?
it.
The nightlife is open later. You know what I'm saying? It's all about enjoying. And one of the things someone told me over there is like they don't really have like a sense of grind over there, right? Because
Is that like hustle?
right, just
Okay.
like, you know what I'm saying, working hard, like
Okay.
get up at 6. That's not like their mentality over there. It's like what they kind of told me. Did you feel like you had to kind of break out of that from being like in Oahu, being raised there, or did you feel like you always kind of had that?
No, it definitely was taught. The education system, it starts there, right?
Yeah.
Education system on the island is trash.
Yeah.
Not to say anything to teachers or people who try to create that. It's just like if you were going to go to college, you had to go to a private school. And there was Kamehameha and Punahou. And Kamehameha, you had to have like some type of percentage of Hawaiian in you to even attend. So that's out for me. And Punahou, like, it's just too expensive. So I went to Moanaloa High School. And I mean, we started school at the time at 9, got out by 2:15. What did I learn?
Bro,
Yeah, that's
Like,
what,
I went to school, hung out with my friends, went to lunch, and that was it. And I mean, there wasn't just the same type of not even really pressure, but sense of you need this in order to thrive in the world. It was just kind of like you can be here or you cannot be here. So coming to the mainland, where I was surrounded by people who were hungry for knowledge or just had a curiosity about life in a way that called for them. And I think it was mostly because they were trying to escape their own. It was interesting to me. And then I realized you had to keep up. So I started running.
So you said you did some schooling after high school as well?
Yeah, I did some schooling after high school. I actually finished high school at Curtis Senior High School. Shout out Isaiah Thomas. And then I went to Musicians Institute. I went to American Musical Dramatic Academy of the Arts. And then I went to Cortiva for a little bit while I was here.
And what is Cortiva?
It's a bodywork school. So it's like massage therapy, and then you can go into different modalities on your own, whether it's like Reiki or Thai massage and things like that. Wonderful campus, wonderful people. It's a challenge in a different way, mostly for your spirit and your soul, because you're touching people all the time and you're letting people touch you. So that was an experience that I don't think if I had chosen to do, I don't think I would have even stepped on that stage at Numos, to be honest. I don't think I would have been in my body enough to do it. So
Now is like that type of schooling, well, just in general, is schooling like further pursuing education once you graduate high school something that's encouraged in Hawaii, or is that?
no, sports is though.
Yeah.
Sports is
that
though.
shit easily.
Yeah, and I did track and field. I still hold records there for the fastest girl on the island of Oahu.
Damn, you serious?
Okay.
Yeah, I ran 11.9 as a freshman and jumped 18.2.
Well, everybody
Okay,
eating
long
rice on
jump?
the island, cat suits, chicken, so you know how it goes.
18-2 long jump?
Yeah, long
okay.
jump.
Okay.
I still got the medals. That was a cool experience. But now I got rods in my back. I have 2 Harrington rods.
Oh,
so
shit.
don't try to race me, nobody. If you see me out here in these streets, you're just
Trying to pull a Michael Vick on you.
Yeah,
Hey, let's race.
And
No,
what happened?
I'm okay. We can go eat and talk though.
Right.
But, yeah.
And what happened with that? How did you get those?
I had major scoliosis, so my spine, I had such a serious curve leaning towards my heart that I had to get immediate surgery right after I won state.
Damn.
Okay, so this is like when you're in high school.
Height.
Yeah. I got the surgery when I was 15. It takes about 3 years to heal. I thought I was a badass, and I tried to go jump because some girl was telling me that I was never gonna be shit, and then I went and jumped, and I cracked a screw, and that kind of like, detoured all of that. But blessing in disguise, it led me to music. So
There you go.
here we are.
And there you go. And there you go.
When did you meet Steven?
I met Steven when I was at an Apple store in 2015. And he was working there, and something told me to walk in, even though I had no Apple money at the time. I just walked in there, and I was like, I'm gonna go try and pretend like I want to build a studio. And they were like, we know the guy for you. And they were like, Steven Chireba, he's our music guy. And he walked up, and we were just talking. And it's funny because if you ask him now, he'll tell you, he's like, I knew she was something then. Super sweet.
That's Gambit.
And he shared with me that he did music, showed me some things. I said, I got some friends in LA. I don't do music anymore, but if you want to connect with them, they're out at the Bay. Like they're dope people, dope artists. I'm sure they'll let you come stay. And he did. He's the only person when I passed on contacts like that followed through.
And you met him up here?
Yeah, and I met him up here when I was just visiting. I met him the day before my birthday, which was funny. And then we became really good homies. And like I said, I had quit music. I was done. I wasn't doing it anymore. And when he came out to LA, they drove down to my place down there from Los Gatos area. And I was singing in my apartment. And he was like, what do you mean you don't make music? Like, what are you talking about right now? And I was like, I don't make music. Don't ask me. And he's just like, no, you should. And I was like, do you want to sleep outside? And he's like, okay, all right. And then my parents are up here, so I would visit. And I was out here, and we were homies. And I was at his house one day, and he had a studio in the basement. And he tricked me into like writing a song. I don't even really know how it came about. I think he was just like, oh, do you want to hear this? And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I started writing, and then literally 8 minutes later, we wrote a record called Kill Your Butterflies. And there was something in my spirit that was awakened that I was so sad I had let die. And he was like, you want to do this? I'll do it with you. We can do it the right way this time, like, I got you. And I was like, okay, all right. And we've been working together ever since. And I'm so glad that he was a friend and allowed me to believe in myself again and start sharing music, because I don't think I'm supposed to really do anything else. And that's love. So shout out to Steven Treva, man.
Shout out to Steve.
You walked into an Apple store, man.
Yeah, and then I made him quit his job.
Oh, wow.
I said, quit your job. We're going like
He's a
dead
dope
ass.
individual too, man.
Yes, he is.
I remember I
Ooh.
chilled with him one time in his studio, and we were talking about Lupe Fiasco, and my favorite album from Lupe is Food and Liquor.
Yeah.
And he was just saying, I love that
That's
album.
like a lot of people say.
Yeah, but me and him tapped into our favorite records off of that. Yeah, and we tapped into one of our favorite records on there, and I was a couple of them, and I'm like, damn, like, okay, like we on the same wavelength. I thought I was the only person that liked that album though, because I didn't know many people around me that really rock with Lupe like that. They did for like
Well,
singles.
a minute.
Right, you
And then
know?
something happened.
something triggered. I'm like, I don't know whether it was a commercial, whatever.
His label.
Yeah, there you go.
His label.
But me and him was politicking, and like Steven's a very talented indivital.
He was a hip hop artist before he was a producer. Just saying.
He's
Don't be mad at me.
man. Like, it's a lot of they cooking up in that house, man.
And he does video and he does graphics.
Yeah, that's
he does
another
photo,
thing.
right?
Yeah. I mean, he does it all. And he's one of those people where he masters things. You know, people how they say, I want to do this and this and this. Like, no, he'll master it and then he'll move on and then master something else.
Taking his time.
Yeah, and that's a different kind of mind. And I've worked with several people like in LA, great people, gifted people. But it really is a vibe. I mean, we're all artists, right? It's different when you actually connect with someone and there's this wave that you guys can ride effortlessly in that process of creating something. And no matter what time of day it is, what season we're in, if we're mad at each other, we can always create a dope record, no matter what. So I'm thankful for that relationship. And that same thing fell in my lap too with Jay. Like Jay and I can just boom,
That
easy.
nigga. Oh, you and him? When you and him be worried, when I see the footage, I'm like, I mean, we had a conversation about you one time. And he was just, this was like probably a year or two ago, something like that, longer than that probably. And he was just like, nah, man, she gets in here and fucking works. So I was like, God damn. I'm like, man, I wish I can just keep that stamina up in the studio a little bit, because you know inspiration dries out on you sometimes. Yeah. But he was just saying the way you cook up. Even Steven said the same shit. Like, it just, you know how to piece that thing together, pretty much. And it's just to see it reciprocate on stage. It's like, wow, like you really know what you're doing.
That's
you have
home.
the control.
Stage is home.
Yeah, you know you love this shit enough to be like, I can run in any department: studio, stage, choreography, rehearsals. We got this. Oh, we just need one or two. Nothing. Yeah. Like that's something worth a damn near $1 million investment or more.
Thank you. I'm praying for it. Come on.
It's coming. It's coming, man.
I got
it's
longevity.
Coming.
That's all I'm trying to show people. Is
coming.
Longevity.
You keep going on stage looking like Storm, damn it. You going some of that shit. You got it. Like, point blank. Period.
Now, do you do a lot of creating in the studio, or do you do a lot of prep work before you enter the studio? Is it a pretty mixture of both?
So I guess it depends on who I'm working with. The records with Steven and I have all been within being in the same room with each other and just creating off top. The records with Jay and I would start the production and then he would bring it home. And then, next thing, the record's done. And with Jay and I, it's always been a day. It's done. My own thing is done. It's done. And I'm thankful for that. But there's always this weird feeling afterwards, like, was that too fast? Mm-hmm. Like you start to think about
trust the process.
Yeah, it's just trust the process. And I'm trying to get one of my biggest goals this year is I want to work with more artists and see their process. And so I have a job out in Tacoma. I work for Tacoma Records, and a couple of artists that are affiliated with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and I write for them. And seeing how people bring to life their stories or want to bring to life their stories has shown me how to better express mine. And also, seeing your performance and getting to be on a bill with you and being in the studio with you and seeing how you guys just color your art. It has and forever will impact me.
Love.
Because how could you not? An artist should always be an open vessel. It's just a matter of what you want to keep in.
I feel that people throw shade at some artists for that. It's like we have to wear it on our sleeves. We have to, just give you the many layers of us all at once sometimes. I think it works like that. Like, I feel most of us artists have, like, for me personally, I know I'm a crank. Like, I know I'm a brat when it comes to certain things as an artist. I'm a brat. Like, I want this and I want that. It's like a toy store to me. It's like a candy store, especially when you go to J Battle studio. You hearing random stuff he's doing in the studio. You're like, no, leave that part in there, leave that part in there. Like, let's try this first, and then we're going. I'm like, all right. Like, go back to that part, but it's definitely something where you have to, like, people have to understand as artists, like, we love sharing us and passing on some. We're givers.
Yeah.
We're givers. We're not selfish. We're only selfish when it comes to building what we need to build, a design to give to you. And that's something I understood as being an artist. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a personality glitch or anything like that. It's just us being artists.
Yeah.
We enjoy sharing. We enjoy meeting new people. We enjoy, expressing who we are.
Yeah, it's all infectious. It should be infectious. I'm a disease. Let me get in you. Come on.
Let me run it up. Let me run it up. Let me mess up that immune system a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you were saying that like Nas and Big, and you've always been listening to hip hop, and that you've drawn inspiration from hip hop itself, but your image and your look doesn't really fit the mold of hip hop. Like, how did you what goes into your style?
Hold on. I gotta say something on that. TeZA, like when I look at TeZA, it's more universal. Because if this was like the early 2000s, 90s, they would have been like, we got to put her in a bracket with. Because Erykah Badu, hip hop didn't consider her as much early on, and then they did, and then it kind of
They consider her jazz.
Well, let her talk about it.
Yeah, but going on it.
So, how do I?
Because you have a lot of styles. I've seen you I've seen your Instagram page. You have a lot of different styles. You're not just one style. You have a lot of styles. A multidimensional
being. Like that's as we all are. I just think we get so much shade at a young age that we just kind of pick one and then we're like, I'm gonna be Harry, or I'm gonna be Sarah. I'm gonna be like this because I'm safe with this group. I'm safe being seen like this. I'm safe with these opinions, and this will keep me safe. But literally, it just keeps you limited. That's it. And I'm not. I'm gonna evolve. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna change. And so, with the artistry, aside from the music being individual in each track, with my artistry, it's the same thing. So, yes, I may have a hip hop influence in my cadence or in my delivery and my writing, but then when you look at me, my fashion, my output, my what I may stand for, the things that I wear on my shirt, my jewelry, like I love rock. I love alternative music. Like I love Paramore. Like I think one of the dopest artists that will forever live on, but she's kind of riding this like radar just because of how filthy she is Pink. Like look at the evolution of Pink. Look at where she started and look at where she is. Like she has touched everything, even on a live performance level. And that's someone who I admire because she still, no matter what people said, no matter what her label said, even no matter what that group that she was in the beginning that she couldn't be in anymore, she still stayed true to Pink. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really influence people to see like, it's okay if you're you, but then there's also these beautiful, disastrous, revolutionary aspects to you. And fuck what the world wants you to say. Like, go say it, go be it, go express it. And I feel like if I put that out there first, like whoever, little homie is watching behind me, or beautiful little girl, whatever, they'll feel encouraged to do it too. And that's all I want. And so that's what you get. And I don't always know what the hell I'm doing. I just know what I like, and I don't always have to have a reason of why I like it. Like
you gonna create, you an artist, damn it, you create.
Yeah, like
exactly.
It's real, and just because there has been a major influence to a look, doesn't mean that look has to only belong to that major influence. And I'll say it again, just because a major influence has been incorporated to a look does not mean that look belongs to that major influence. Piercings and tattoos. What do we think about? Punk, right? Mm-hmm. We think about grunge, we think about all of that. Mm-hmm. Yes, major influence, but that look does not belong to it. I like piercings and tattoos because I like them. My tattoos have meaning, my piercings have meaning. I like that. I don't have to be white, I don't have to be Hispanic, I don't have to be I don't have to be anything but me. And I don't have to explain it in that regard either. All I need you to know is what I stand for, my intentions behind it, and that I like it. And if you want to like it too, I support you.
You better make a fucking clip of this. You know what I'm saying? You better make a clip of this.
This guy's hype. That's the dope thing about music and where we're at today. Like we're seeing a huge evolving period. Just like, I can speak to it inside hip hop with artists like Thug, he's pushing boundaries. People like Jaden Smith, he's pushing boundaries. Lil Uzi.
Famous Dex.
XXXTentacion. I mean, like,
Shit, Lil Peep,
look
man.
at Lil Peep, exactly. You know, it's Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
Like that record that he came out with. What is it?
Lucid Dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, that sample was from
Sting.
Yeah.
Everybody been
exactly.
sampling Sting this shit. That shit.
But how many young people knew that?
Oh yeah, not many.
Nobody knew that.
Not many.
You know, and that was our first real introduction to his artistry. But if you understand where that came from, then you'll maybe start to understand where he's going with it. He is trying to influence a part of hip hop, pop, whatever you want to call it, in a different way. Not so he can necessarily take from anybody, but so he can make room for more.
Creating diversity.
Yeah, that's it, and as it should be. That's what hip hop is.
I feel that sometimes people are afraid of diversity because they're afraid of being judged, and that's something like I used to be the kid as growing up, like from first grade to like probably 7th. I would wear holes in my jeans. Nah, it's a trend.
Everyone had to
but
say something
a black,
about
a black man wearing holes in his jeans, you'd be like, "What the hell you wearing some?"
What happened to you?
Yeah, you're getting judged automatically. But we ain't had the money like that, so I made it a trend for myself a little bit. But I mean, like it's just all about diversity, like you said. Like hip hop is so open and enough to where we have to accept different elements in order to grow. So I mean,
It hasn't always been though.
Now we get
that's crazy because hip hop like spoke for unheard culture and really pushed that culture to the limelight, but it also built all these crazy rules around it along the way. It got to the spot where you need to be like, even though hip hop was built on sampling, it was built off taking influence from other things and flipping it and making your own. All of a sudden it came for a minute with all these unwritten rules of, well, you can do that, but you gotta stay in this lane, and you gotta look this way, and you gotta sound this way, and your beats gotta be like this. And I think as the new people have came, a lot of those artists we just listed, they started taking that same element of hip hop, but doing it to things outside of the rules.
Yep.
And
I think that's what's expanded the genre, kept it being like the #1 genre in the world, and also helped hip hop continue to influence culture outside of hip hop. Like to the fashion, like holes in jeans, that might be a rock punk thing, but like hip hop kind of has owned that and is now pushing it back forward in pop culture.
Yeah.
Piercings, tattoos, long dreads. Man, a little bit of
Color
everything.
hair. That's probably like the turn of the century. Is like everybody just started coloring their hair. Remember that was almost like offensive
It was,
if you
a lot
had
of this
colored
stuff,
hair.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff was at
and
one
then everyone's
point.
like, I am now going to be rainbow.
Skittles.
Hey, Cisco influenced a few people,
You're right. You're right.
A few people.
Thong song singer. If you guys don't know who that is, I know the generation's new right now, so we gotta get them up to date.
I'm old, man. Shit.
That thong,
Yeah.
like when the beat go, like when the booty go.
Now, before we get you out of here, I want to ask you some everyday, regular questions. First one we got for you: tacos or teriyaki?
Tacos.
Late nights or early mornings?
Late nights till early mornings.
Do you wet your toothbrush before or after you put toothpaste on it?
Is the sky blue?
Which one?
I wet my toothbrush.
I wet mine.
Do you do it before and after the paste?
Yes.
Okay, you're
Cleanliness
regular.
before-
You're regular.
You know
okay.
what I'm saying?
Lemonade or apple juice?
Lemonade.
Weed or alcohol?
Weed.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Thunder and lightning.
Forever storm.
That's my hero right there, so that's the mother I wish I had.
I wish I could heal people. Off
Yo.
top.
That's gonna do it for us here at the
Hold
lunch.
on, heal. She said heal people. Now, say if somebody caught herpes or some shit like
my
that,
God,
or
bro.
had a nasty scab. You talking about heal everything, right? Not just
So,
wounds, not
I
just
didn't
wounds.
say take away your
Your ailment.
Fuck
yeah,
this,
and
man.
so this is the thing about healing, right?
Got you.
You can be
Oh, you mean heal? Okay,
you
I
can
got
be
you. I'm rocking with you.
like depressed, mad depressed,
Oh,
and then be healed.
okay. Then we there.
But I think when it comes to things of the body, like cancer and things like that, I know I could say this, and it might be me shooting myself in the foot. I don't even, what does that even mean? Who did that back in the day? But I think in this life we get things because we are supposed to be taught how to use our strength. And sometimes those challenges may seem like, why me? Why is this happening? When really it's a test, or it's trying to break through that fourth or fifth wall to your untapped strength, which is also
Your true potential.
superpower. So when I say heal someone, I want to heal a part of themselves that will give them strength, not necessarily take anything away that they may already have, because everything you go through in this life you get to keep, and this is your life, and you chose this. And my personal belief. So that's what I mean.
I like that.
You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
That works for me.
She had a deep meaning. You went straight to herpes.
Nah, bro, like you got like I'm a comic book reader. I'm a comic book reader. And when I watch comic books explained to time on YouTube, they get more intricate about, okay, what does this power really mean? Like say healing. It can mean 3 to 4 different things now.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's always a retcon in some kind of comic where they have to explain it deeper. Like, oh, okay, he doesn't really necessarily heal. He heals the vibrations and what's going on with you, like you just said.
Yeah.
Like not just your wounds it just all makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a
No,
comic
that's
book reader,
facts.
so I'm all out there like that.
That's good. That's love for real. No, one last thing. We got the RMR 8-year anniversary coming up. Mitch, touch on that one more
second
time.
Congratulations.
For the first time.
Yeah, we're doing the RMR 8-year anniversary weekend. We're just doing a little 2-day thing this year. Got a private, scheming and scamming. So Friday night at ETC Tacoma, we're doing a cypher with 4 different groups curated by us, ETC, Mixed Trap Nation, and Town Entertainment. Shout out all 3 of them that are RMR. So we got a cool thing just kind of for the culture, ETC, streetwear store in Tacoma. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that.
Definitely, we're familiar.
They're super dope. They've been pushing local music through their blog for a long time, and it's crazy from us being a clothing company back in the day. It's hard to be a local shop and be a clothing line, and they've been able to do both and stay very relevant on a local and national level for many years. So very blessed to be partnered with them on that. And then Saturday night, we're just going to do more of a kickback networking, more of the cannabis type party. So come bring some big gas. Well, you got to sign up for that, respectmyregion.com/8-year. You got to sign up for that. We'll hit you with the details on the location like Friday night and then again on Saturday morning. So pull up to those. Bring some gas.
Yeah.
I definitely pull up with the purple haze. I got you.
Make sure everybody stay tuned in with us, man. That's going to do it for us here today at the lunch table. I'm Caj Encee, Mitch, Feezable The Germ, of course, TeZATalks in here with us today. Be sure to get with us every single Monday via the RMR Facebook page. We'll see y'all next Monday. We're out of here.
Bye.
Yes.